Hey guys!
Hey guys!
We just got home from Spooky Empire in Orlando, Florida, and I gotta tell you, I think this was probably the best Spooky Empire ever, in my opinion. It did seem like attendance might have been down, and there could be some contributing factors to that.
So the first thing is that this was a rescheduled convention because it was originally supposed to be in October. However, Hurricane Matthew happened and it ended up canceling the event. So this was a rescheduling of that event. So that was probably a huge contributing factor to the low attendance.
But that could also be an optical illusion because the venue was so much bigger this time around, it might have just looked like attendance was down. The layout of the vendor floor was awesome. I loved the vendor room. It had like these purple lights that added a lot to the ambiance.
Yeah, like it was really gloomy, which totally works for spooky. And my favorite thing is that each vendor had space. Normally they're so crunched in together and the aisles are so tiny that it's just not a whole lot of fun going through the vendor hall. And it was not like that here. The aisles were nice and wide. Each booth was nice size. They were let in the day before the event started so that they could set up. So just the quality of the vendors' booths were nicer. Like they had more decorations. They looked more like storefronts as opposed to yard sale.
But Spooky Empire this year, oh my god, it was absolutely, everything about it was outstanding, I think.
They did a good job of taking their biggest attraction people and putting them in a separate room so they didn't clog up the vendor room. Like all the other artists were in the vendor room, but you know, the cast of Stranger Things was there and they were a big draw, so they had their own separate autograph room with a special line in a hallway off to the side of the convention so as not to block the flow of traffic.
And speaking of the Stranger Things cast, we were in line waiting to get into the autograph room, but because we met Millie Bobby Brown, who played Eleven in Stranger Things, in New York at New York Comic Con, we didn't need her autograph. So that while they were waiting for her to arrive, because she was at a photo op, the other kids were in there signing already, and they were like, does anybody not need Millie? And we were like, we don't. So we got to jump the line because everybody else wanted to wait and get everybody at once, and we needed just the three. So here is our Stranger Things poster, and you can see, oops, it's over here. All the signatures are over here, up away from the art, which we kind of did accidentally. Millie ended up signing here in New York, so we said, you know what, let's have all the signatures up here, and then keep the art basically pristine. So you can see, there's Millie, there's Gaten, he played Dustin. Here's Caleb, he played Lucas. And then this is
Finn, right?
Finn, and he played Mike. And you can see, out of all of them, Finn's signature is a little squiggle. Like that's like the most grown-up thing ever.
He has such an adult signature.
He really does. The other kids, they're signing their actual names, and you can read it. Not Finn. Finn's just like, zip. And I'm like, wow, that's very Norman Reedus of you.
And of course, we cannot go to a convention and not buy art.
We have a problem.
We do, but we only bought art from one person at this convention. We did scale ourselves back a little, and it's from Greg Andrews, who does fantasy type art, and we saw this Harley Quinn and we had to have her.
Mermaid
Isn't that
Harley
awesome?
Quinn. This is a great print. And he was doing a special. It was 3 for $25, or 4 for $25, I think it was.
No,
it was 3. It was 3 for $25 is his special.
Yeah, so we got that one.
So we got the Mermaid Harley Quinn. We got like a body painted Supergirl, which was really cool, I thought. And we got like a variant Catwoman print, which is, it's kind of like a steampunk post-apocalypse kind of a feel, and that's really cool. And we also bought a series of graphic novels by Benny Powell of Red Giant Entertainment. We bought the Wayward Sons Legends series, and this looks really, really interesting. Basically, these aliens end up being the basis for all of our mythology and religion and everything.
It's like they came here and their wars are what we wrote our myths and stuff about.
And if you happen to be a fan of Markiplier, he's a huge YouTuber. I think he's the biggest YouTuber in the United States. Red Giant Entertainment is doing a comic book about Markiplier where he
Yeah.
actually ends up in the universe of these comics.
Yeah, of all of the comics.
Yeah,
just
not
kind
just
of,
the Wayward Sons
but
comics,
all of their
all
comics,
of them.
yeah.
And hearing Benny Powell talk about that, it sounds really, really interesting. And when those hit the market, I might actually buy those. They sound really, really cool. And that was everything that we did/bought at Spooky Empire. You did a couple photo shoots though,
Yeah,
too.
I had a photo shoot for my Jailhouse Harley and for Negan's Harley.
And we overall had a fantastic time at Spooky Empire. I cannot wait to see what they do next year.
Yeah, they typically do 2 a year, one in May called Mayhem, and then one in October, which is their typical Halloween con. So I can't wait for Mayhem because this one was so good, and it was a last-minute rescheduling of a prior event. So Mayhem, I just feel, is going to be absolutely incredible.
And of course, the saddest part of going home from any convention, the removal of the wristbands.